Hey guys, welcome to the Manhattan Project. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys episode number 2 of the top combos within Dota. In today's episode, I'm going to be focusing in on one of the most classic combos in all of Dota, Tiny and Wisp. Together, Wisp and Tiny are the most synergistic heroes in all of Dota. This is due to the fact that they can both cover each other's weaknesses extremely well. So first, let's cover Tiny's weaknesses and then how Wisp makes up for them. Tiny as a hero lacks 3 main things: mobility, a source of regen, and armor. Wisp is able to make up for Tiny's lack of regen and mobility through his first skill, Tether. Tether binds the two heroes together, increases their movement speed, and allows Tiny to get any regen that Wisp is receiving in addition to his own. Because of this spell, it means that Wisp every single game needs to get a bottle, an urn, and a mechanism. This will provide an abundance of sustain not only for himself, but also for Tiny as well. A second way that Wisp can make up for Tiny's lack of mobility is through his ultimate, Relocate. Relocate allows Wisp and whatever he's tethered to TP anywhere on the map in 2 seconds and then return back to his original location 12 seconds later. This skill has both incredible offensive and defensive potential, as he's able to kill enemies from seemingly anywhere, as well as have the ability to swoop in and save allies through a seemingly instant burst of regen that can turn the tides of a fight. The reason that Wisp pairs so well with Tiny compared to any other damage hero is because Tiny is able to deal out massive amounts of damage at pretty much any stage of the game. Granted, however, unless Tiny itemizes correctly, he can still fall off in damage in the late game. However, in the early and mid game, Tiny is able to use his first 2 abilities, Toss and Avalanche, to deal a crushing amount of magical damage in a very short duration to enemy heroes. The one thing to really keep in mind is that as Tiny, you need to be able to use your combos correctly. The first thing you should do in any fight when you're using your spells is to use Avalanche first and then use Toss a split second later. This will allow the enemy hero to take bonus damage from the Avalanche hitting him twice essentially. Tiny's ability to output a quick burst of damage really makes up for Io's overall lack of damage. Before you go out and try to play this combo in literally any pub game, you have to keep these things in mind. Io and Tiny are very hard to play together successfully, and because of this, they only really see success as a duo in the pro scene or at very high MMRs where the player skill is very high. Executing this hero combination requires both a huge amount of skill as well as a great deal of communication, or things can go horribly wrong. But now that I have both the synergies and the faults of this hero combination, let's talk about how they should be played over the course of the game. In the early game, you almost always see this hero combo going mid because they're able to dominate a solo opponent, and Wisp is able to get fresh bottle charges by getting runes. With this being said, however, they are able to be played very well in the safe lane, although Wisp might not be able to get as many runes and bottle charges. Your role in the early game is to get sufficient farm and basically shut down your mid lane opponent. In the course of this, if your opponent makes a mistake laning against you, make sure to capitalize on it and get a very easy kill. Your transition into the mid game should begin as soon as Wisp hits 6. This might be later than your opponent due to the fact that you have a 2v1 laning scenario, but the later timing is not going to impede your progress in getting kills and extra farm. In the mid game, you really want to make use of Relocate so that you're able to safely split push and take objectives, and at the same time be able to react to fights and show up and help your team. By around the 20 to 25 minute mark, you want to be able to have a bottle and an urn and at least some component of your mechanism on Wisp, and you want to have a full power treads, possibly a drum or a blink dagger, and then an Aghanim scepter on Tiny. These are really the basis of your transitional items that are going to allow your 2 heroes to really transition into a powerhouse combo if the game goes later on. You want to make sure that your mid game and your late game strategies are very similar. You should always be able to safely farm and then show up to team fights in a very short notice. By having this extremely fast turnaround speed from farming to fighting back to farming, you want to make sure that you're able to keep up your item progression and continue on with items such as AC, BKB, Manta Style, Daedalus, and even a Moonshard on Tiny, and a Guardian Greaves, or even a Pipe on Wisp. So to recap this episode, Tiny and Wisp synergize extremely well because they're not only able to strengthen each other as heroes, they're also able to make up for each other's weaknesses and really force the enemy team to be constantly scared of a global threat. As long as you have a high level of communication between the duo, you should be fine in being able to play these heroes, probably in a unranked pub game to at least learn how to play them, and then maybe into a ranked team game later on. Well guys, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, as well as subscribe to my channel for more content. As always, I have videos linked down below in the description. Thanks for viewing, and have a great day.